Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Parent Pod, brought to you every week on Thursday nights. This hour belongs to you. Our goal is to connect you with family-friendly resources, experts, have some fun, awards and prizes, and really just keep connecting with the community. Parenthood is a struggle, especially right now, and we need each other as much as possible. So this week, I'm really excited to be bringing on guest Suzan Scharr. She's a nurse and certified lactation consultant. She currently is with Monumental Beginnings Doula, which is a local resource. Many of you may have met Krista through her business at the Parent Fair, and Suzan is now on board with them as well. And you're going to find out a little bit more about Suzan, what she does, and we're going to talk about the struggles of being a new mom, which are going to be overwhelming, but it's just a phase, and you're going to hear us kind of talk about that a lot tonight. We're going to talk about the importance of support, what's the most important thing to do when you bring a new baby home, virtual support groups and how we're adjusting in the times of COVID, as well as breastfeeding and some other great tips. And we're going to be taking your questions all throughout the night, and Suzan will be here to answer them. Additionally, we're going to have a question of the night. And if you answer a question of the night, you'll be entered into random.org, anybody who answers the question, or even if you submit one. And you will be entered to win this awesome Cape Cod Quarantini shirt, courtesy of a local young lady, Lily Matthews, who designed this. Look at the little shark and the beach ball on this. Super cute. This is the last one before I restock, so you definitely want to win this tonight. Also, just a quick shout out to Pickle Jar Kitchen, who was who sponsored the recipe this week for our cocktail of the week. This can be made with or without spirits, super easy. The recipe can be found on our website, and I'll have to tell you, it's Blueberry Lavender Lemonade. Amazing. Like I said, it can be simple stuff that you can make at home with or without spirits. So no judgment here. It's judgment-free zone this evening. And I'm going to be bringing on Suzan in just a second. So I hope you're all excited to be joining us. And this hour's for you guys. So enjoy. Kick back. Get away from the kids. If you're a new mom about to have kids, God bless you. You're very lucky. So let's bring Don't let my kids hear me. Let's bring on Suzan right now, and she's coming live with us in 3, 2, 1, and welcome. Oh, let me just unmute her. Welcome, Suzan. How are you?
I am doing great. I am so happy to be here tonight, Amy.
Oh, I'm so happy you could join us.
I didn't know that drink had lavender in it. I would have been making it. That looks really delicious.
It's the lavender's a nice little balance with this, and you can get them at the pickle jar, but the recipe's shared, and it's super easy to do at home. I already ate the blueberries that were added to it. So
we're getting our antioxidants, we're getting our vitamin C with the lemon, and maybe some spirits, and definitely some calming influence through the lavender. All good things, all things we need right now.
Absolutely. It's like a healing restorative cocktail.
I love that. I love that. That works for me.
So
really good.
For everybody who doesn't know Suzan, I'm going to kind of give the backstory, and you and I have kind of gone through this a few times, but for those just joining us who may not know, so I had my first child in the fall of 2010, and I was blessed to meet the Suzan Scharr at Falmouth Hospital Maternity, which is sadly now closed, and we'll get into that. And Suzan and her best friend Lori started a breastfeeding support group through Falmouth Hospital. And when at the time I joined, I forget how many years you had been doing it at that point. Do you remember?
Oh my goodness. I started oh goodness, you're gonna freak when you hear this. So I started the support group 25 years ago.
Wow.
And I started it with Cheryl Donahue and Kathy Sylvia, and we were doing it in a room that is now pathology. It was a beautiful room. It's called the Women's Center, and it was turned into pathology, which is sacrilege. But it was a gorgeous space, and we met every week on Thursdays. And then Cheryl and Kathy ended up going their separate ways, and Lori and I ended up taking it over together. So that was cool because we'd been best friends for 32 years when we started having children together.
That's right. So, I mean, 25 years. So this is only 10 years ago. So I came in just over halfway into the life of this.
That's right.
Amazing program. And I get a little emotional when I think about that time in my life because you're a new mom, you're thrust into this world, there's no handbook. You're like, you're going to trust me to go home with this child from the hospital? I can't even feed this child, you know, and I remember I struggled and thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm never going to be able to do this on my own. And you were very patient with me. You're like, listen, the stomach is this small and it's okay. You don't get stressed. You can do this and we're just going to work at it. And we worked at it because it's not a skill they come out knowing. Although I have to say my daughter did come out knowing. I don't know. She maybe read the book beforehand. Lucky for her and me.
Second babies are such a joy because they're now teamed up with an expert, and that would be you.
Yeah.
And so you don't even know how much you know.
You're more relaxed about it. And so
Definitely.
You had this breastfeeding support group, and it was such, to this day, I will say it again and again and again, such an amazing group of women in that group, not only with you and Lori, but the women attending. And we were very diverse. Everything you could think of was different about us. So whether it was religiously, spiritually, economically, politically, everything about us was different. But we had one common goal. And that was we were trying to get support for not only breastfeeding, but being a new mother.
Right.
So, and to this day, I mean, I think we all somehow keep in touch with someone still in the group. And it's amazing to see how much that round of babies have grown. They're approaching 10 years old. It's a decade later. And it makes me so happy to see that so many of us still have close relationships and everything like that. And it was within that group that I believe it was Kelly Porter started a Facebook group.
Exactly.
And to have virtual support. And the reason was we were all trying to message and text each other in the middle of the night. And I was like, let's make a group. And it was so beautiful because it was like, even at 3:00 in the morning, someone was posting, someone's like, yeah, I'm up too. Don't worry. I got your back. And
it's so amazing. It's so amazing. These are the same stories that I hear over and over again, Amy. I just got graduation pictures from a mom who she and her husband were at Joint Base Cape Cod. He was a helicopter pilot, and she had her first baby. They'd gone through prenatal education with me, and then followed through with the breastfeeding classes. And her son Jack was born while they were here on Cape Cod. Then they moved to Texas, and she had a set of twins. And then they went to Alaska, and I kept hearing from her all the way along. And now her son Jack has graduated from high school, and he's gorgeous. He's beautiful. And the twins are doing great. And she's gone to nursing school, and she wants to be a lactation consultant. And now they're down in Alexandria, Virginia.
Wow.
So I keep track of a lot of those mamas, and it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing to see that something that you helped create with others, it's really blossomed into something that grew and became such a necessity and filled the void for a lot of us that was lacking, especially here on the Cape, where we do have a strong sense of community, but it's not like the city where you're going out, you're closer to things. It's a different lifestyle. Here, it's a little harder to get people out. But Absolutely. You were able to do it, and it was because we needed that. We needed that outlet. And although it's disappointing that Cape Cod Healthcare has decided to go with the direction that they went in through Falmouth, I'm happy to see that you've joined Krista at the Monumental Beginnings Doula, because you're continuing that, and I see that you're continuing these support groups even virtually right now, and it really is, it's an amazing thing. And for those of you who don't know, and I tell Susan this and Lori this quite frequently, they were the inspiration for Cape Cod Moms, because it was in that group that I said, wow, we're connecting virtually. What happens if there was a spot that was more than just this? What happens if there was a one-stop place for parents in this community to connect with as many resources as possible, not just events or arts and crafts, but a little bit of something, access to experts, access to recommendations, access to everything, because you don't have time. You're running around, you don't have time, and you needed a one place to get everything. And so I credit you as one of my...
I credit you.
No, I know. I said it the other day online. I mean, you are what I had good role models. And the reason I am where I am right now, 10 years later, is because of women like you in my life who led the way and inspired me to do something. And I'm super appreciative. See, I'm crying as I'm telling you this, but I'm super grateful and appreciative, because I don't know where I would be or this community would be had I not met you 10 years ago.
I have to tell you, I admire you so much, because you've taken all these little pieces and you've brought them together, and you've taken the ball to the next step. And that's huge, because they don't stay babies forever. They don't stay breastfeeding forever, but they sure need support, and the families need support. And that's something we're all really clear about. And I can't thank you enough for the efforts that you've done. Your resource fair, oh my goodness, that's incredible. And, I think back 32 years ago, I was expecting my first baby, and I met this woman at work. Her name was Lori Ruggieri, and she and I were talking about having our babies, and then we had our babies. Lori had twins, and I had one singleton, Katie, and Katie was born in February, and the twins were born. They were actually born on the day of their baby shower that I was hosting at my house, and they were born on June 21st, the longest day of the year. And Lori and I just kind of raised our kids together, and we both were the first people in our families to breastfeed. So we knew it was a good idea. We knew it was a really healthy decision for our kids. And so we would meet, like after our weekends off, we'd meet on Mondays at work, and we'd just talk about it. And there was so much chatter. Our families would be like, do you think the baby's getting enough? They didn't trust the process. And they were bottle feeders. They didn't, they
know.
Comfortable with this whole thing. So it was crazy. But we ended up being each other's support group. And so it's no wonder that, it came to this full fruition. And now Lori is working at Brigham and Women's doing lactation. And today I had a really good interview with Newton Wellesley Hospital for lactation. And it looks like I'll be working off Cape to do that. But I'm still keeping on. I love these Upper Cape women, and I totally believe that they need and deserve every bit of support they can get. So the breastfeeding support group is going to keep going.
That's right.
And we are excited about that. And we also have another group going, which is the healing group, support and healing for moms dealing with any postpartum issues. So that's really cool, and we're excited about that. And it is what it is. It's going to keep going, because we care about the moms on the Upper Cape, and we want them to have that support that they need.
Well, and you and I talked earlier today. I'm a proactive, focused solution person. I don't like to be reactive. I feel like in general society and this area in general, we're getting better, but we're reactive. We solve the problem after the fact, and we need to be proactive about it. We got to start from the beginning. And the more support you give families and parents right from the beginning with these children, the better foundation you are giving them, and they have then the support to get through the tough times. And statistics show that foundation that's so crucial in supporting those families leads to lower crime, drug rates, problems, more worldly thinking. It leads to a better community. And we really have to focus and change our way of thinking instead of being reactive to being proactive. And this is proactive, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's what I love about it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
why don't you tell us, let's kind of start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about you, the rest of your background, and how, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, you got into all this and where you are now.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Melrose, and then my family moved to Falmouth when I was in high school. And I love Cape Cod. I think Cape Cod is a little piece of heaven, maybe a big piece of heaven, especially here in the summertime. I mean, we're so blessed. It's
You
pretty
really
awesome.
are.
And so I ended up going to Cape Cod Community College, and I got my associate's degree in nursing, and then started working in the area of the field of my dreams. The head nurse at Falmouth Hospital and Maternity said to me when I was doing my student training, come back and see me when you graduate, and I'll have a job for you, which is like, are you kidding me? A specialty area? Seriously? So
Right?
I was completely thrilled, because that was the area that really spoke to me a lot when I was going through school. So I did that, and at that point in time, I was actually hired for the nursery, and that was cool. I loved being with the babies. And then our director decided to take a really kind of an avant-garde role. She was cross-training all of the nurses in the unit to work nursery, labor and delivery, postpartum, and antepartum, the testing that you do before a mom has her baby. So we were doing all those areas in this little community hospital, which was, it was very cool. And then we started with rooming in with our babies rooming in during the nights. We kind of got rid of the nursery. Again, another hugely avant-garde thing to do in a community hospital. Seriously, it was
Yeah.
it was great. So the nurses were very skilled, working everywhere, and that was really very nice. And I loved working in all the areas. After a while, I went back to school and got my bachelor's degree at UMass, and loved that. And then did some more education pieces with nursing, and became, they called it the clinical coordinator on the unit. So I kind of moved up that way. And then a couple of years ago, they developed a brand new role, which was available, and it was lactation consultant / childbirth educator. And so I ended up doing, applying for that role, and got that role, which that was great. Boy, talk about, it just felt like a comfortable slipper. It was just perfect. And I love working with nursing moms, and I love working with families, because like you, I think we share a same heart interest in that families need and deserve all the support they can get. And I also think that, and this is really a key piece, I think that mothers need to be connected with other mothers in their community. Mothers they're going to see in the grocery store, in the pediatrician's office, at the playground, because that allows the mothers to develop a friendship. It decreases isolation. It
Absolutely.
decreases, that whole sense of, oh my goodness, it's winter on Cape Cod. What am I going to do? And it
Right.
makes friends for your kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very important stuff.
The isolation is tough, and I remember feeling that way and not wanting to leave the house, and I knew how important it was, but I can relate to that, and you get comfortable in this little bubble and you don't want to go out, but it's hugely important for your mental health. And it kind of goes back to, you can relate to it even now. Like, it's been 10 years. I mean, I had the second one, but it was a little different. But with the COVID, getting re-isolated again. And I feel for the mothers who have been giving birth during this time, I have a girlfriend who gave birth in March, and it was tremendously isolating for her at the beginning of COVID. And even though it was her second, it's been really hard for her. And I feel for the moms coming up to giving birth now, because it's a whole different ballgame, because you can't physically get out. And that's why it's beautiful that you guys have really adapted for this virtual. At least it gives them some connection.
Exactly. And I think that's really important. It's important for me too. I mean, I have, during this time with the maternity unit closing, Krista Sullivan from Monumental Beginnings Doula Services came and she asked me, would you be interested in doing any lactation care? And I said, yes.
Yeah.
And she's fabulous. She does such a great job, and it was just wonderful. And I've been able to do virtual visits through during COVID, which you're absolutely right. COVID is a whole new critter. Um, being at home, not being able to have your family come in and bring you meals and clean your house and do all those awesome things that families and friends want to do, it really doesn't help at all. And this is just uncharted waters for everybody. And I really feel like, for all the women out there that have had babies during this time, you all have purple hearts in my book, because
That's
this
right.
is very different.
Yeah. God, I honestly and reach out, work your network. And if you don't have support yet, or you're not sure, I mean, you've got resources in us. You can always message me. I'm really good about keeping things anonymous and connecting people with the right experts and resources in the area. So definitely don't be alone. It's important to have these connections. So now you're with Krista.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also at this new potential job, but you're still doing stuff with Krista. What about some of these other struggles of new moms? It's because it's not just the isolation. It's a lot of things, and I kind of touched on it earlier. Even if you want to, if we talk about breastfeeding, they don't come out reading the playbook. And I remember you telling me it's not a skill they know. You have to teach them. It's one of the first skills we teach them. And that's always stuck with me. And I've repeated that to other friends who are struggling. I'm like, it's okay. You got to teach them. If they don't know how to do it, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means we got to try and teach them how to do it.
And that's exactly right. And you know what? Really, everybody deserves to have knowledgeable eyes and ears with them as they're feeding their babies and they're learning those new skills. And even with a second baby, the mother may be a pro and absolutely know what she's doing, but a baby's new at it, and it takes a little time for them to figure it out. And so brand new, here's the scenario. Brand new, has the baby, moms are going home 24 hours sometimes. If they've had a C-section, sometimes 2 to 3 days. They're all leaving early because of COVID. So they're not even, like, the milk isn't even in when they've left the hospital.
I'm sorry. Wait, did you say after a C-section they're leaving after how long?
2 to 3 days. Can you imagine that?
I couldn't even have a bowel movement that fast. It took me like 4.5. Are you kidding me? I'd be like, no. Do not send me home to do that alone.
It's true. The mothers are leaving early, and it's so hard because the babies aren't even awake yet. The milk's not in. It's
You're still
really
recovering
tough.
from all the medication they gave you.
Bingo.
Yeah, not a good combo there.
No, not at all.
Forget it. Puts people into these uncharted territories, and can make it a little more anxiety driven, I'm sure.
Oh, the anxiety has been so high. And so that's why, I think the postpartum support group has been great. That meets Mondays. And if you go on Facebook, Support and Healing, under Support and Healing group, You'll see the Zoom ID numbers, and you're welcome to join. And that's been a wonderful group. And really, the focus of Support and Healing Group is to, one, decrease isolation by bringing mothers together with other mothers to talk about, yes, this isn't easy. And, we're going to get through this. And the realities of having a new baby, and, that whole life that you knew is completely different.
Oh, so it's a whole new ball game.
You got it, kid.
And then once you have one, then you're like, okay, a couple years into it, you're like, okay, I got this. I'm in my routine. And then you go and have another one, and then you're like, whoa, didn't even think about that. It throws your whole routine for a loop again. And then for
Right.
those who continue to add, it continues to, you have to readjust every time. You're like, oh, gotta go, okay, I gotta readjust the whole routine to this new thing, new baby and new life again.
And no sleep.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. I think if I was going to go learn something brand new right now, I would become a sleep therapist for newborns.
Ooh.
I think that it is really, it's really hard. And so many moms are working or trying to work at least, remotely. And when you've only had 2 hours of sleep, it's hard to form thoughts that are cohesive.
Yep.
It's no fun, and your emotions are a mess. So it's really, being a new mother, it's tricky stuff. Sleep is important. Good nutrition is important. Family support, partner support, and being with other moms that are going through the same kinds of things, so that they can talk together. Because it's not all the flowers being delivered to the house and all other wonderful stuff. You do have some of that, of course, or hopefully, but not everybody. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And not only do we have the isolation going on right now, but we've got moms that are dealing with all this stuff. They have a lack of support. So the groups are meant to provide support and to actually talk about ways to, it's strength-based, to make yourself feel better. Things that we used to do pre-baby that made us feel better about things. So, that might be crafts. That might be getting out in nature. That might be getting out for a walk, or going to the beach early in the morning before it gets hot, and just getting out there, doing things that are going to make us feel better.
Absolutely.
And that's the strength-based piece of it.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. There still has to be something for you. And I remember in some of those parenting classes that were being shared between Cheryl and Lee Burwell and you guys. And I remember Lee Burwell specifically talking about how the challenge, especially if you have a 2-parent household with relationships, is it's you and this other person for so long, and then you add the child. And a lot of times the mistake people make is just focusing on that child, but you actually have to focus on all of you as a unit and each of you individually to keep you healthy. And so it's really important to find something, like you said, at least once a day, at a bare minimum. If you can't do it once a day, then every other day, but something even small, like you said, a quick walk, or what I like to do, and I just sit out on the porch with my morning cup of coffee, and I get up extra early to do that, and I just sit in the silence. I'll listen. Sometimes I listen to a podcast or something, but it's just quiet time with no noise from the little people that live here.
Yes, you have to nourish your soul.
Your soul.
You have to take care of those things, because we, one of the things that they say in the curriculum that I use for the support and healing is, a car can't drive on an empty gas tank.
That's right. That's right.
You got to fill it up once in a while. 100%.
And I highly encourage naps. As many.
Oh.
And I know it's hard, especially, especially now with women in the workforce, balancing the family life, now balancing COVID. It's a lot on our plates that's being expected of mothers right now. It's
Yes.
like I read about an article, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal, about this being the death of the working mother currently, because they have to choose being a mom or being an employee. But it goes back to, we're being expected to carry a huge load right now. And so
It's
support is crucial.
disproportionate.
It,
Yeah,
it
it's
really
really,
is. It,
it's
it
so
really is.
unfair.
Um,
I I don't know how you young mothers with kids at home are doing it, because I've seen mothers, grown women, professional people, they have it together all the time. It absolutely dissolving into tears because they've got to be on a Zoom meeting, and they've got to be helping their kiddos with their schoolwork, and they're managing the home. They were going to the grocery store with the mask, the gloves, the whole thing, washing all the groceries when they got home. It was just it's really overwhelming.
it's a lot. I'll tell you what, Susan, I had a day yesterday, and I think it's okay to give yourself permission to kind of, as Amy Wyman from Good Grief says, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset about it, and every once in a while, yeah, you got to honor that within yourself and say it's okay. It's not just
Mhm.
me. There are other women, and like you said, that's why it's so important to know that there are other women and have these friends and these support groups, because you're not alone. You're not alone. There is someone out there somewhere in this world or in this community going through exactly what you're going through. I had a day yesterday. I went to Oak Bluffs with the oldest, and he just wasn't having a great day. The anxiety of being really close to people boarding the boat kind of set him for a loop, and I didn't think it was going to, because usually he's pretty even keel when it comes to that. He doesn't. I didn't think he'd notice, and it kind of set the tone for her. Saying, "I'm like, we're getting ready to come back, and I'm ready to cry, sitting by the dock, going, oh my god, what is going on?" And I had to take him out, and then I started texting a couple friends. I was like, I need support right now. I need someone to help me. And I said, I'm just
Right.
having a day, and they were like, they lifted me up. They were just there. Um, so that's really important, because you're right. It's a big burden right now. Um,
Thank you for saying that too, because I think that, you had the strength in the moment to reach out to your gal pals and say, all right, friends, I need you right now. And
yeah,
boy, how important is that? It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength.
that's right.
And we all need each other, and especially going through this now. And the kids, I mean, holy moly, what they're going through, and the anxiety, we see it in the adults, and the kids, it comes out in different ways.
Absolutely.
And it's a hard time. It's a hard time for all of them.
It really
And
is.
understanding that and finding ways to kind of diminish that anxiety in any way that we can for them and for us, so that we're all healthier, is really challenging.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to introduce our question of the night tonight that we want people to comment in here. What's the most important thing a new mom can do when she gets home from the hospital with the baby? Now, there's one really strong right answer here, but we welcome all your answers. So just comment in the comments here, and we'll share them as Susan and I continue to talk. I want to share a comment with you here that Megan made. Susan made me feel so comfortable when I was navigating breastfeeding as a first-time mom 5 years ago. See, you have a lot of fans out there, Susan. You've made it great for a lot of people, which is fantastic. Oh, did you freeze up for a second? She might have. You there? Oh, she might have frozen up for a second here.
Oh,
Can you
I
hear me,
remember.
Susan? Okay, there she is.
I am.
um, so, what are some other tips and tricks for new moms, especially?
Well, I think, reaching out for help is always a really good idea. So if you're having difficulty, know a few things. That the hospital you deliver at, when you have your babies, if you haven't delivered yet, ask a million questions and don't feel the least bit uncomfortable about it. Everybody there is there to help you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is after you go home, there's still help available. Okay. The hospital that you deliver at will have some sort of lactation support. Usually it's virtual. If you live in the Falmouth community or anywhere on Cape Cod, Monumental Beginnings has lactation. That would be me. And I do virtual or home visits. I've been doing some home visits, which there's something really important about that. One of the things that came to me was that when I see a mom for a home visit, I go in scrubs. I have the mask. I'm Purelled. I sanitize my stuff and my scale going in. I sanitize everything going out because it's COVID time. We cannot be too careful.
That's right.
And so, with that being said, I think that it's important to get the help that you need to be able to assess a baby's mouth. They have a tongue tie. Are they having difficulty with a latch? You can only see so much on telehealth with the camera. And the poor mothers, they're like holding the camera, trying to figure out where the breast is, or trying to see the baby.
Right.
And it gets crazy. And so, getting those visits in, it matters. It matters a lot. So reach out for help. That would be my big thing because it can make it so much simpler.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jasmine.
And I'm looking
Jasmine
to see
has
if anyone's
answered.
come up with the answer.
Not yet, but Jasmine says have an established support system. I mean, that is pretty important. Not the number one answer, but I would say a pretty close tie for number one. I think you know this person. Nurse Coakley says, be sure to take care of herself so she can take care of her baby, and don't be afraid to ask for help or feel as if you have to do or you need to do everything. I think you might remember Nurse Coakley. Oh, excuse me, kitties. Let's see. We have Katie. Katie says, I remember the VNA visit I got about 2 weeks after my first was born. They did the weight check, watched me nurse, etc. It was so helpful having her see me in my home. So these are all really good answers.
Very, very close. Hi, Pam.
I think Pam used to work in maternity too. Kelly, oh, here we go. Rest as much as possible. Self-care is key. Take help if others offer. Easier said than done. I know. You know what? That's kind of important to note right here. It is easier said than done because everybody, whatever you need, I'm there for you. It's really hard, even after people have said that to you, to be like, yeah, I do need your help. But trust me, if you start doing it and asking and reaching out for help, it gets easier. It definitely gets easier. And as you saw, as we just talked about yesterday, when I knew enough to reach out 10 years later with that first baby and say, I need help right now.
Yes.
So that's key too. Pam was my nurse for my firstborn. Hi, Pam. I love how everybody is kind of connected here. We're all in this together. And it really is. It's beautiful to see. Gotta go along the same lines as others. Take care of yourself.
That's really good.
That's a good one. Take care of yourself. We're going to get there. Hi, Kelly. Let's see. Hi, Kelly. Oh, it's so great to see everybody connecting. So, Susan.
Oh. It does. I love what you said, Amy, when you started off tonight about when you were going home, that they were letting you take the baby home. I remember after being a nurse for 10 years, taking my first baby home thinking, I'm going to do with this kiddo for 24 hours a day.
That's so true.
It just felt,
You're like, wait, what are you doing? You're giving me a baby? Are you out of your mind? You brought up earlier that the baby's now room in with you.
Overwhelming to me. You know, and I had been with babies.
It can be very, very overwhelming. And I just remember, I remember you could room with the babies, room in with them and sleep. But I remember I liked the option that I remember one night, I think it was you, came in and you're like, I was like,
another really good piece of information.
Yeah, I just need sleep right now. And I remember you guys giving me a break for a couple hours just so I could sleep. Sleep is so important. All right, so Jasmine, yes, I meal prep for my first, so I literally just sat staring at my firstborn like, what next, right? They're like, here, you just had a baby. Here you go home and have fun. You're like, wait, what?
Should we pick the one?
Yeah, so who's
people to weigh in?
Who's the winner, Susan?
We're so, you know the game hot and cold. Well, this is very hot. We're very close.
We're very close. I think if anybody was the closest, I would probably say Kelly here. What do you think? I think Kelly, sleeping when the baby is sleeping. That is the most important thing. So sleep, because like Susan said, you can't run on an empty tank of gas. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Susan will be right back with us. Are you back, Susan?
What if we act it out? So
I like it. All right, so there we are. We're having some internet connection.
Sleep is important. And if you can get 4 hours tied together, you're really doing well.
Yeah, 4 hours. That's a solid amount of time, and would give you a lot of reprieve. You'll wake up feeling like you slept all night, especially with a new baby after 4-hour nap. True story. So real quick, Susan, we're gonna do.
I think it was
this one, Kelly. It's pretty close.
I would agree.
All right, so Kelly is our
answer that I was looking for, was that age-old sentence: sleep when the baby sleeps.
Sleep when the baby sleeps. And guess what? The dishes will get done later. The house will get cleaned later. Mm-hmm. Everything else can get done later.
Agreed.
Rest when the baby sleeps. I still use that mantra now with my husband. I go, oh, the house will be clean. You know when? When they leave it to go to college.
Sorry, could you repeat
that? That's when I'm cleaning the house. That's when it's getting done. I go, T-minus 8 years with the first one, okay?
I know. I just checked in with my son to make sure he was off. He's doing a remote job in India. So him being on the Wi-Fi makes my band lift very, very short.
So Kelly DePia, you'll be our tonight's winner for this Cape Cod Quarantini shirt from Lily Matthews, a local girl from Falmouth who is doing these shirts. So we'll get that to you. The next part of our night, before we start to wrap up, Susan, is our random acts of kindness. And you're a little familiar with this because you nominated your best friend, Lori, a couple weeks ago. And Lori was the winner of that basket.
I think Kelly's got it.
And Lori was the winner of that kindness basket. And actually tonight we have another winner, and we're going to call and surprise her live right now on the air and share this surprise with her. And this is like my favorite thing to do every week because I love seeing people. I love their reaction. So hopefully everybody can hear this. I'm going to hold it up.
It's so true.
Here we go. We're going to call. We're going to call Julie.
Great advice, because the kids aren't going to care if the house, and that's good.
Hey, Amy.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
Are you watching us on live right now?
Am I watching you? No, I'm putting my kids to bed.
Oh, well, guess what? You're tonight's winner for the Random Act of Kindness, Julie.
Oh, you're so cute. Thank you.
So I feel so bad.
And I was going to watch Amy too, but then, I don't know, showers and that, you know.
It happens. It happens. You can catch the replay. It's okay.
I totally
Awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
So I want to read you what Jennifer Halen submitted about you. And she wrote, Julie is a hardworking nurse and active community member. Julie's an amazing mom and aunt, and she is welcoming to all. We love Auntie Julie. So we have a little gift for you that I'm going to get you in the next week or so and surprise you with. But we just want to show our appreciation for what an amazing woman you are.
Oh, you guys are so sweet, and thanks to my sister-in-law, Jenny. That was so sweet, Jen. Thank you so much. I love you guys too.
You're welcome. I'm glad you're one of our winners tonight, Julie, and thanks for always supporting us. You know, it takes a community and a village, right?
Absolutely. Amy, thanks for everything you do. You're awesome.
Aw, thanks so much, Julie. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. See, I love that part of the night. It's my favorite. I'm watching all Pam's comments now. When you leave the hospital with your baby, it feels like you're entering the Twilight Zone. Pam, I'm still in the Twilight Zone. I re-entered the Twilight Zone. It happened around mid-March. I'm waiting, looking for the exit. It hasn't happened yet. Let me know if anybody finds it. Cleaning and scrubbing can wait till tomorrow. Yep. Or like I told my husband, when the kids turn 18. It's either that or he can hire a cleaning company. That's up to him. And there's some good ones around here. Good thing he doesn't watch this. I love him. He's amazing. He really is. He's a great partner, great father. He was great with Olivia. Very supportive, because Olivia was his first child, but very supporting of my breastfeeding journey with child number 2. And so I shouldn't talk too much. I love it. So let's see. So we got Kelly, our winner. We got Julie, our winner. And next week, everybody, just before I wrap up with Susan, we're going to be joined by Tracy Lamperti. She's a local therapist. She's been with Cape Cod Moms. I've also known her probably almost as long as I've known Susan. And she's a great resource in this community. And we are taking your questions via our link tree. If you have questions for any of our upcoming guests, you can submit them via there. We've gotten quite a few questions for next week about how to help our children with the increasing anxiety. And a lot of children are starting to exhibit anxious, depressive, and OCD type behavior. How to, kids who are excessively hand washing, obsessively almost, which is really over and above, and how to kind of gently curb that behavior and redirect and make them feel calm again. So that's going to be really exciting. We have getting outdoors with the family the following week. And the week after that, we actually have 2 guests from Cape Cod Advocates who are going to be coming on. They know all the district local plans for our special needs students. So they're going to be coming on answering your questions about how to continue to advocate for your kids, things the schools will be doing. So that's going to be an interesting one. Later in September, we'll also have Jacob Stapleton again. That's going to be exciting, and a couple other guests, including repeat ones. And we're also going to have Susan on again with her friend Lori, which will be really exciting as well. So remember, Thursdays, 8 p.m. right here on Facebook. We had an issue with YouTube tonight, so it'll be replayed on YouTube, but normally we'll have it streaming live. Suzan, any last minute gems you want to leave us with?
Oh, gee. Well, I'm so impressed with this group. It's so great to see that people are reaching out. And Amy, I just want to say thank you to you, because you're supporting the Upper Cape. You're supplying women with resources that they desperately need. And that is awesome. If I had a gift, I'd be giving it to you right now.
You know, I think of this as my gift. This is all I need, because honestly, I get so much enjoyment and satisfaction. It's almost selfish that I do it, because I really do. It fills up my love cup, you know. It really does. And I love our community. I love our children. I love our families. I love our resources. And I just want the best possible future that we can do. And I really, truly, strongly believe that it starts in the beginning. And the stronger you make those children, those families, the brighter our future is. It really is.
I'm right there with you. And, you know, I can't even say enough of how great this is that you're doing this. And, you know, for mothers, please know that there is support and help all around. There's groups. Amy is a great resource. She knows, this girl has her ear to the ground. She knows everybody that's doing everything. So if you have any questions, reach out to Amy. She knows.
And if I don't know, I'm going to find out. Who is that? That's Suzan. Hi, Suzan.
Great.
Well, thank you so much, everybody.
Hi.
It was such a pleasure. Suzan, don't exit when I turn this off. Okay, you can talk to Suzan 1 second. So my hour of enjoyment is up, and I'm back to these wonderful little people that I help create, and I can't be more blessed. And I hope you all have a great night too. I'm bothering her. The end is in sight, hopefully. Just remember, it's just a phase. This is just temporary. We'll get through it. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.